In the Greenhouse All-Stars, 18 legends of the game return for one more run at the crown. They're here to rekindle old battles, find new names for themselves, and maybe, just maybe, be crowned the best player in Greenhouse history. 4 seasons have all led to this. Each week, 3 All-Stars will enter the Greenhouse, earning power in deciding who goes home each cycle. Players in the Greenhouse designate which players are vulnerable at each week's banishment. Additionally, players are able to earn seeds, the in-game currency, and the vulnerable players can use those seeds to buy their way out of precarious situations. Alliances must be forged, lies must be told, and at the end of each cycle, someone has to go home. It's the ultimate game of negotiation. Do you strike now or save your power for later? Do you rescue a valuable ally or do you hang on to your seeds? 18 enter, 1 will leave. This is the Greenhouse All-Stars.
Hello guys, as mayor of the jury, I'll start us off.
Then start us off.
What do y'all want to start with?
Good God.
Awesome.
Alright. There are 5 people left. 6 people left, about to be 5. Out of the 6, there's 5 people. Let's be honest here. There are 5 people.
Don't be like that.
We're gonna start right here. We're gonna start
with the?
We're gonna start
one who's
the
not. The one who's
Let's
not.
start with the person I think no one here is voting to win.
I
think we are.
I'm in agreement.
Are you voting for Jessica to win?
I don't think there's any conceivable way I vote for Jessica.
Are you voting for Jessica to
Fuck
win?
no.
I'm not voting for Jessica.
As funny as I want
Are
to
you?
be, I'm not voting Red Bull Slushy.
What is that reference?
That's the only game move she made was getting a
What's
Red
the
Bull
reference?
Slushy.
Patrick, is there any world in which you vote for Jessica to win, given what she has done right now?
Right now, no, but if she does manage to get there with 2 people that I personally perceive to have not done very much, Lily and who?
Say their names.
Lily and who?
Yeah, like
Say
literally-
their names.
What 2 people does she go up
Patrick,
against?
Lily
answer.
and somebody. Does she have to tie against Lily and go to as a final 2 against Lily?
And
Is that what
even
this is?
then, I don't think
Even then
she
it's
gets
Lily.
my
If
vote.
it's her idea,
Okay, wait. I do
Her
have
first
okay.
idea of the season?
Let's
good
do this.
idea.
We have bashed Jessica a lot. Let's talk about the good things Jessica's done. She has been funny.
She's a good person.
She's been funny.
Out of the game, Jessica, you are
No.
amazing.
This
yeah,
is
for
wait.
sure.
Let's make this clarity. This very clear about everything we say right here. This is all in
all game
All
related.
game.
For sure.
Jessica is an incredibly nice person. I've talked to her
yeah.
outside of the game.
Nothing wrong with anyone.
So she got out first. As a camera person, I've talked to her as a first boot. She's an amazing person. I am going to lay that to rest, though. We are talking game. I think she is a terrible strategist.
I found it hard to work with Jessica and trust that she would stick with the plan. When she was Sunflower early on, I told her names, and Ross was a very easy one still. It was still pile up on season 4, and she said no. I threw out probably the entire cast, and she said no, I like them, and I said, are you playing?
Here's the
Are
thing
you
about
playing the
Jessica.
game?
I always knew I didn't really have to do much with her except for Kiki and like smile with her and like hug her, and I knew she would never put me up. Which Monopoly round she should have put me up, and she didn't.
Yeah.
She has no strategy whatsoever. Whenever I would talk to her, I would get nothing, and we go off on this tangent. So there was no strategy to be had. So I don't know how. Well, we know why she's still there.
So who do we think's about to join us, you guys? Who is it?
Who is it?
Your 6th jury member, walk through, please.
Yeah, we did.
All right, so Lily just joined us, which means Jessica just lost the game.
Let's talk about
What happened?
You know,
So
I am a little bit mad about Jessica, if I'm honest. So I'm happy to talk about it. I feel like, and I voiced this to Ross before I left. I was like, I get what's about to happen, so I might as well just shoot the shit about what I think y'all should do. But like, I feel like she's been carried for a long time.
We just said
the whole
They're just
game.
like, hey, like
Team
the whole
Jessica
game.
go carry.
And she's not making any moves. Honestly, it was a little frustrating for me when we're like running around, scrambling, having conversations, and she's like standing in the kitchen, checking on her phone, on the couch. Like she
Red
didn't
Bull
really have to
slushy.
put a lot of work into stuff.
Nope.
So it's a little annoying that the rest of us, I feel like, have been every round having to bust our butts.
Yep.
We're
And
really
she
bad.
has not had to do that, and it's just like kind of annoying. I feel like she's there by default a little bit.
I want to hear more about what happened
This
with
round?
your round because we
Yes.
hear Jessica
Yeah.
Basically,
Stayed.
Ross, Brandon, and Meredith went into the greenhouse, and then the round
For
was
30
over.
minutes.
For 30 minutes, they wouldn't come out of the greenhouse and finish their flower picking ceremony, and the round was over when they came out.
So what was
There
the
were
decision?
no new conversations. Their decision was to nominate me and Abrielle and vote me out, and
That's-
then they weren't willing to have any conversations.
Do you know
Nobody
that's
was really willing
bullshit.
to have any
So then
conversations.
why were they talking for so long?
I don't know.
Because they
I guess they
decided
were
what
making
was
their
gonna happen
plan.
right there.
Also, these last few rounds, this has kind of annoyed me. Even though the third person only gets 2 seeds and can be eligible, everyone kept making pacts that they wouldn't vote, put that person on
Right.
the chopping
I
block,
felt
and I'm
the
like,
same
for
way.
what?
It drives me nuts.
Why? I'm like, why? If they're the most advantageous person to get out, just because they got 2 seeds and they're technically, they're like, it's greenhouse.
Lily,
I'm
can
like,
I ask
what?
you a question?
Yeah.
Who were you close with then? Like, who was your closest ally?
Abrielle and Brandon.
Abrielle and then Brandon behind that
Yeah.
probably.
So-
and then probably behind that I would say Ross.
Yeah, everyone's a Ross.
So
That's
that
how it
is a good
happened.
transition, I guess.
I think Ross has been running this game, and he has a perfect
Absolutely.
final 3 in his head that he's going to just steamroll.
Who do you think
And that
that
is Jessica and Meredith.
I don't
I think that Meredith will
you
win
take
then.
Nick.
Then
Thank you! Thank you!
I don't
All these.
I think Meredith will get votes
win.
then.
All these
I
she
don't
can
get
get
votes.
votes.
She's not going to win.
Ross has betrayed too many people.
No, betrayal.
Meredith
Wait,
has betrayed more people.
No.
Oh.
They love
What
betrayal.
about a
They
tea?
hate
What
that
about a
shit
tea?
up.
What about a
That they
Wait,
hate that
let's-
shit.
Can I ask y'all-
Right.
One person at a time.
Let's
Yeah.
talk.
Can I ask
yeah.
y'all who you feel betrayed by?
No.
Let's just
I
go
don't
down the
care.
line. Start
Yeah.
at Christian. Who do
I-
you feel betrayed by? That's still in the game.
That's still in the game.
Yep.
I feel most betrayed by Meredith, a little bit betrayed by Brandon.
Okay.
Because he could have gone to bat for me a little bit more than what he was leading on. But Meredith the most.
Ross the most, and I would still vote for him easily. I'd be happy to.
Honestly, there's nobody. Like, I don't think I can blame someone for trying to vote me out.
For me, I feel the most betrayed by Abrielle. I was very blindly loyal from the start with Abrielle. But I'd still vote for her.
I don't really feel betrayed by anybody. I think I was just the fall guy in a 2-3-sided war, and I genuinely don't think that I was the best person to go for your side's game. But
That's fair.
that's obviously hindsight now. But I think I was saying that at the time.
I don't care about the betrayal, but if you betray for a good ass reason,
Love that.
which I know that Ross did, I will vote for you so
Yeah.
easily. I'm okay with betrayal if you do it for a reason.
I-
I want another reason.
I agree with
Completely agree because I don't count myself as a bitter juror in any sense.
No.
I do feel burned by Meredith completely. But I want to know, Meredith, why the fuck did you betray me in the moment that you did? If it's for an absolute strategic reason, here's why. I will absolutely throw that all out of the window and listen to everything she says. But if she did it just because I was just like a casualty in something that she was just like, oh, I just need to bag on Christian right now and just go to the next round, that's not good enough for me.
Why should we value each person's gameplay? Let me re-ask that.
No,
Please do.
Cut that.
Re-ask it.
I mean, you made it the furthest in the game out of all of us. What makes it? I don't know. I'm fucking lost.
I can take it.
Yeah.
So basically, I think what Brady's trying to say, and maybe tell me if I'm wrong, you made it further than us and have the most recent relationships with everyone
Yes.
in the
Yep.
house.
Yes. Thank you.
What have they done since we have all been out and not been able to see the intricacies of what's happening that makes them winners?
Exactly.
Oh.
That. What he said.
That makes them winners?
That makes them winners.
And I would specifically like to hear about Meredith, since you seem to have this perception that she's playing an amazing game.
True.
And like I have not seen that since I was in the game.
I haven't seen her at all.
So, I guess right now, I mean, I think it depends, of course, who she's up against. I feel like Meredith has been able to make a lot happen in the game and be kind of quiet about it, because she's kind of finaled with a few people. You know what I mean? That she she has really solidified some of those relationships and has just like managed to, even when she has no power, no one's putting her up and no one's looking at her. And even when she did get put up against you, it was like, oh, well, obviously not Meredith. Like, oh, no, not Meredith. You know what I mean? Like, watch, all these men are like, sorry, like a lot of what boys in the game have been, not Meredith. I'm like, whatever Meredith is doing to y'all. And like,
I'll tell you
she's
what
got
she's
you.
doing.
She has
She-
got you.
She
Sorry.
said, I am at the bottom of the girls, scoop me up. She has done that and she's been pitching that the entire game.
Here's a question I have though. How is that any different than Jessica, except Jessica's more ditzy and Meredith just sounds matter of fact?
Meredith
Because I feel like Meredith actually has
put up
strategy
Thomas and
conversation.
Shakira.
Meredith put up Thomas and Shakira,
That's
which
true.
was a
huge move at the
It's
time
huge.
that
Come on
nobody
now.
sitting here or in the game
Meredith-
would have ever done.
It seems like
And-
Meredith is actually maneuvering and suggesting things and actually trying to talk strategy. And every time I'm in a room with Jessica, I mean, maybe she's having different conversations when I'm not there, but everything's like, whatever you guys think. Whatever y'all, I mean, I'm fine with whatever. But she's just coasting, and it's just annoying that she's still there because I just feel like she's not playing. I feel like she's like someone's little sister who's tagging along while everyone else is playing.
Do you have like one more solid example of a
I'm
move
sorry, like,
that
that's
like
how I
she
feel.
has done? You said that she's been making stuff happen even if people didn't know it was her. Besides Thomas and Shakira, can you give me one more example?
Oh God.
Anything, I'll take
taken notes.
anything.
Has she been a major greenhouse flower?
Well, that's
Besides
my
the-
question.
She's
really
often
some-
not in the greenhouse, but still not nominated.
But,
which is
but
very
I don't.
impressive.
But I don't
She's
care
been
about not
nominated.
being nominated.
Right.
Like not being nominated is not impressive.
In
to
this
me,
small of a
right?
pool.
But also she
It's
has
not,
been
but it's not.
nominated.
But even if she is, it doesn't matter.
I
'cause
think I can't
what
remember,
want-
but I feel like the last like 3 or 4 rounds, I think she's only been in once and somehow has avoided even conversation about going up. And I'm
But
like,
is that
she's
just
not.
because, I mean, from it looks like here on, it looks like she wasn't nominated because no one really.
Cared.
Exactly.
She was nominated against me and Brady. She's been nominated. She's been taken off a lot.
Mhm.
She's. I don't want y'all to think she's never been nominated. I would like to say
we don't
that.
know. I don't think
I
she
know,
has.
she's been nominated with you and
4 times.
No,
She's been nominated
said
a
it.
good bit.
Oh, really?
She said
And
it.
to be
I
fair,
thought only you and
like
you.
when it was Christian and Meredith, I was willing to put seeds down for Meredith to keep her off. So she is really good at maneuvering socially with each person individually, and I'm not taking that away from her. I just want to make sure that if she's playing that good of a game, in game, what has she done in game?
I'm pretty sure she has had access to the most seeds of anyone in the entire cast. She has been put
I
her
don't know about
hands
that.
on
Is it access to the
no who
base?
who
How many more did she have?
Ross
to
had
give you?
20 something at one point.
Who do you
How
think
many
he
was
had
voting in?
20 something because that was for the fly trap, which was me or Shane's. Don't want to take credit before I see the tapes. Me or Shane's ideas, and me and or Shane were the ones doing the math, making sure we had the numbers. Ross was just the guy that I wanted to use the fly trap
Same.
so I wouldn't be the target.
I
Same.
wanted to hear that.
Brady, sorry. Brady turned against me, you, and Ariel.
Largely due to
Largely
I'd
due
say
to Ross.
90% due to Ross and the
Not because of
conversations.
anything else.
I mean, the way he made me feel in conversations.
Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
He's playing from what he says to his body language. To,
Yeah.
He's not just playing the game with the rules. He's playing.
He's playing
He's a
us.
fucking genius.
Like the thing with Meredith, and someone said Wizard of Oz, but like if we don't know
Yeah.
who the person controlling it is, how
Yeah.
can we as the
It's
citizens of
hard.
the
ask.
I'm trying
vote
to
for
remember.
her?
I'm trying to remember specific instances, but I do feel like there's lots of like, I think that works, and then I feel, I wish I had more specifics for you. I feel like there was lots of like seeping away back to go ask Meredith what she thinks.
That's a knock on her that she's going to have to explain to us. But the thing is, Meredith is relying on something at the end game to convince us. Ross is relying on all of us knowing that he screwed us over for a very good reason to get to the end, and he almost doesn't have to say anything.
He doesn't have to care
Yeah.
because it's Allstars.
He can stand up and just say,
crazy people.
I just destroyed this game and sit back down and would have my
There-
vote.
And if he's with certain people, he could fart, and I would vote for him.
Yep.
It's not
Well, how do
fair.
you feel about
Brandon.
I don't know.
really want to know
Brandon.
your relationship.
I have a
Brandon's
big question
Brandon
mark
has-
on Brandon.
I feel like Brandon's played a hell of a game too, honestly. I mean,
I think Brandon's the only one that can sit next to Ross and make a pitch that would convince me
I
that there's at least a
What are
consideration.
y'all on?
I don't
what
agree.
pitch
I-
did he make?
I don't
I
agree.
think
all
the
y'all.
pitch here is, I was
How
the
is this
first.
y'all?
We feel
I was the first winner
everything.
of the greenhouse. I was the face of the franchise. I came in here with 2 other winners that both got voted out very, very early. One was the first vote out. One was 2 rounds later. And I came in and was able to skirt that expectation despite Shane pointing it out several times.
I don't care that
and
you're
Brandon's
a winner.
still in, and he's
I don't care that you're a winner.
I don't care that you're a winner if I'm in the game. If I'm out of the game and in the jury, I care.
I don't.
I care
I don't.
absolutely for that. And I guess it's because y'all haven't played as much. But if you have a persona where me, Patrick, or Brody are sitting in the game, if we're on the block, we're fucking going home. I was on the block
Not
once.
me, for 1 round.
Yeah, whatever. If I was on the block once, I went home.
That was
Right?
wild.
So these big players are good. I think Brandon played a great game.
And I still think Ross is the clear front runner here. But if Brandon's able to pitch to me how he contributes to this game, outside of just saying I played the middle and bounced back and forth and let other people make the moves.
I think Ross has made more moves to this point, but I do feel like Brandon is starting to make moves.
That's what I was
That's
wondering.
what
Brandon
it
is-
is picking up
Brandon-
steam.
Brandon-
Let me ask you
Picking it up.
something.
Brandon has gotten in very well with Meredith because he started to notice how much
He's been with
control
us
Meredith
from the
has.
start.
Yes.
So several
Meredith
rounds
has
ago,
control.
he started working on relationship with Meredith and has got very close with her and has got himself in with her when he originally wasn't with her at all. And he's just kind of the one who was like, it's gonna be you or Abrielle, I'm gonna put up Abrielle, you know what I mean? And like was explaining to me the strategy of it all, and like even though he and Abrielle have been allies up to now, he's like, I have to start betraying, you know what I mean? Like he's definitely being more aggressive, he's fighting really hard to stay in the greenhouse. Like
Even
I don't think he's been very passive. I think he is with Ross like trying to make moves.
Lily, is there anything you still feel like you want us to go in, considering since the next person that joins us, you will likely not be here with us to have that conversation?
Or after hearing us talk, what do you think that we're just vehemently wrong about?
I think some of you are underestimating Meredith still and how many strings she's pulled.
I agree.
Okay.
I really have always
Crazy,
felt
you
like
guys
And I
she's
think
been
after
behind the
talking
curtain.
with you, it's a lot
Queen Mary,
clearer.
in my head she's been Queen Meredith for a
She
while.
has.
So next year is coming in. Who do we think?
I mean, it has to be.
I really hope it's Ross.
Probably,
It has to be
All
Abrielle.
right, introducing y'all's next juror.
No! My queen! No!
You were right. You were right.
And that being said, we should probably stop and get
You're right.
cameras, right?
Yeah.
We should pause now.
Beautiful, look.
Baby!
Ariel, did you tell them please don't give me 5th place? Did that come up at all?
Oh, the fifth
We're
place
gonna talk about
curse!
that.
Holy
Fifth, fifth,
shit!
fifth.
No! What the
Fifth
curse?
greenhouse. Abrielle, what happened?
She trusted you.
Cut! Action! Abrielle, what happened?
Well, yes, this is the curse.
Curse is back.
The curse is that's as real as it gets.
Yeah.
And my like the 2 I played online, 5th place. The 2 here, 5th
We
place.
need to burn a shrine or something.
Why is it that every time I play, I can see clear as day what's happening, and I tell everyone. I tell literally anyone I'm aligned with,
I don't remember.
I don't feel that applies
and
to
they're
me.
like, ugh.
That's something we
I'm gonna
said.
say that. I don't know.
That's something before you got
It
here.
was still like kind of iffy when.
It was iffy, and then after me is when it started. I think.
Who is the player? Like you're
Front
saying,
runner.
who is your
we need
front
to know
runner?
who she says.
You don't have one?
Ross or Meredith?
I don't have one.
Interesting.
Dun, dun, dun.
I told them, I said, baby, you got a big storm coming and you got a lot to prove. Because
To who?
to all of them.
Some of the most annoying people on the jury possible, and they have to sit and defend why they should win.
To all of them, I think in the end, so at this point it was Meredith and Ross were flowers, which they've been tight, baby we've been new.
Yeah.
And then I think whenever they got their claws into Brandon is when it was really sealed the deal for me.
When was that?
It's definitely been in the past few rounds, but like Brandon was playing the middle.
He was.
Yeah.
And
Was he not on the side with
And
you?
to say-
no, he was with Lily and I. There was a 3 with me, Brandon and Meredith. There was another, like, there was a lot that Brandon was doing. Like, kudos to him.
So Brandon
Um,
got dirty.
And Brandon was the sole vote, and I was sitting next to Jessica, and I said,
Where did I move?
That being said, I want to tell
I
you,
said, I don't know what
all
you
5
guys
of
are
us-
doing. Brandon said, look, you're just really well loved by the jury. And I said, do you? Who is Jessica pissed off? Besides
all of us, trust
like,
me, all of us.
Yeah,
No,
that,
because
that
literally-
was my pitch. That was
Literally,
my pitch.
I have the most
said,
to say I'm pissed off at Jessica. I think more people on here are more pissed at Jessica than me.
Like, that was my pitch. And I said, y'all want to play? This is Allstars. You don't think you have the best game?
So where do you
That's
think?
why is that my problem?
Should have picked something different.
So why are you
No,
sitting
like,
here?
well, I had a very long speech.
I can say confidently. I want to lay to rest like your status in the game since you're not in it, and this is a jury roundtable. But
Yeah.
I do think you are the most loved from my perspective of those who are left in this jury, because you had a game that wasn't necessarily offensive, but you
Resilient.
you were
said.
so resilient. Oh my
We were
god.
really pulling for you.
And we just really admired your vision.
I wanted to hear her
Well, and I think
own it at the end.
I think that's
you would
why.
have to prove it at the end.
You were my second vote.
I think you were.
Ross is
two
like
for a while.
kind of a big picture in our head, but you were a very high low.
So
size.
let me
I
ask
think
this.
you're
You're
gonna
gonna ask the same question I'm thinking.
And if I'm not sorry, we are pretty 50-50 split on how we feel about Meredith. On this half, we feel like Meredith is behind the curtain and doesn't need to be the one making the moves. It feels like she is behind the curtain and lets the people take the heat. This half feels more like Meredith is not doing as much. Where do you feel, knowing that you had more game than any of us, Meredith is positioned, and what is her strength compared to the others?
And we also need to know if she's strategically doing that, because we haven't figured out if we want to weigh if she's actually doing it by accident or purposely stepping back on purpose.
Okay. I think that. Hey, baby. I think that the person with the most similar game to mine is Meredith.
And y'all love her.
I mean,
That's
Y'all love her. So let's transfer some of the love.
You think Meredith has that good of vision?
I
I don't mean physically.
Now she said she's kissing ass
That's so
today.
fucked up, Christian.
here's the thing: is like every time that I've played with Meredith or seen Meredith play, I get bested, and I've told her this before. That at least in this game we had a pretty similar game history, and so I try to work with her about it, blah blah blah, because I feel like Meredith is always under the radar, pulling some strings, doing what she's got to do to get by, and she did it better than me, because that's kind of what I try to do every time I play. I think she had a big improvement socially. She obviously made great connections that kept her safe.
Branding.
If there's any fault in the game, I think she spread herself too thin. And
Not for me.
well, there was a point where, baby, you gotta make the tough decisions, and you gotta be we know the game, we've played. You know the tough decisions are coming. If you can't make them.
I do have a question for you, because at least the general consensus I'm getting here is everyone who has been here so far feels like they got here because they trusted Ross too much, and that he got in and really established himself as a relationship. What is the reason you feel like you're here?
I feel like I'm here.
Did you trust Ross too
Let
much?
her answer.
Well,
It's not a leading question, Christian.
I think at
Goddamn.
any given moment, Ross was probably lowest on the priority list. But there's a certain point where you look around and I say, Meredith is a big threat. Meredith could really win. Ross is a big threat. Ross could really win. Brandon's a big threat. Brandon could really win. And
Jessica's there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Technically. Physically, she's there.
Let her breathe, please, for me.
I mean, I'm not.
I think her Red Bull, she has
But
more of a
here's the
chance
thing.
to win than
Here's
her.
the thing. The further we got in the game, and I looked around, and anytime I brought up any one of their names, I didn't really bring up Brandon's as much, but anytime that I even insinuated a Meredith or
Same.
Ross's dangerous thing, nobody was
Same.
like, yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was like, well, okay, guess I'm just gonna sit back and hope everybody wakes up. And it didn't
Can I
happen,
ask a
so-
poll right quick? Out of Meredith or Ross, who was closer with who? I was closer with Ross.
I was close with Ross.
Meredith.
What about you?
Probably Meredith.
Meredith, literally, I was dead on with her, but she literally threw me to the wolves, and I tried to go to Ross.
You're not gonna like what she said about you. So, follow up. I think we, in relation to Ross, did the same thing. Y'all keep saying this. We're all out because we trusted Ross. I think we overlooked Ross. Not in maybe not.
What?
I wasn't overlooking.
Y'all
It's just
overlooked Ross?
what was I gonna do?
He has single-handedly had so much power on his name. I get other people supported him. I get it. I fully get it. But he has had so much fire around his name in this whole game, and he has not gone up in the late game.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out that during that round, Meredith was
Which round is this?
the Brody round.
Okay.
Meredith was probably one of the only people up there that Brody had no shot. Ross is up there, he can make a good case.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone, Brandon, anyone, me. I was scared to go up because I didn't want to. Meredith was
Ask for it.
so safe, it's insane.
I'll say this. She might have been safe, but you can't convince me to vote for somebody because they would have not gone home again.
No, but it's not.
Because they're safe that round and that specific person.
She's safe because of the relationships that she had.
I agree. I think Meredith was by far the most insulated person in the game
Thank you.
throughout the entire game. I think
that.
Ross, however, was the one that did everything Meredith said to do or thought of, and I think it was a collaboration between you, Ross, and Meredith throughout the game.
I agree.
And Ross said everything that we as a team did and wanted to do, I made happen. Meredith may have been the one behind the scenes saying it. It doesn't matter to me because ultimately Ross stuck his neck out and he's gonna get to the same spot Meredith is getting while actually making the moves while she just sat back and said, I am claiming these moves. When I sat next to the block, on the block next to her, we talked and she was like, I just don't see how people don't think I'm a big threat. And I just let her talk because I wasn't gonna argue with her on the way out of the door. But she kept saying, I just make all these moves, and yet she cannot claim a move that she made that no one else made.
Can we
This
have
is a
our
dictatorship.
mayor give a blanket statement about what we want? Because I'm gonna be honest, in the past, the greenhouse winners have not been what we're about to vote for.
None of the winners have, I will say, outside
I
of
don't give a fuck
season
about honesty this
4,
time.
outside of season 4, I don't think the winners of the previous 3 seasons were the best players.
I told
Best players in the
them
final 3.
on
in the
my
final
way
3,
out.
yes,
I
best players in the
basically
final
told them. I said, "You guys have a lot to prove. Like they really need to tell us all the like. I have no way I'm leaning. Honestly, I don't have a number one because I don't really. I want to know how they view themselves, how they view their game, how they view their spot in the game. I want to know what they did because." It seems like y'all just steamrolled. Like, why am I gonna? Like, when did you fight?
So,
when did you fight?
and I want you to set it up like that.
And
just be like, we want it all. Like,
We
hold
want
nothing
it
back.
They
You
might be
cannot-
the first
you-
person to ask a question.
Yes.
You cannot be too aggressive.
Yeah.
I will not. I don't think any of us are gonna shy away from someone who's like.
I would like.
No, just leave it on
I'm
the
just
floor.
gonna lay in and
I
say
wanna-
exactly throw me all the shit.
I wanna. We want it all. Own what you did. Don't take credit for what you didn't do.
And I'll address that only
Yes.
as the 2 players that aren't Jessica.
No one is out for me. If Jessica's in the final, she gets just as much of a chance as the rest of them to explain themselves.
I am not as much of a Meredith advocate as I may have seemed. I just feel like you guys are discounting her, and I would appreciate a general open-mindedness going into the questions. Also, a big reason why I voted for the winner of my season was their ability to pivot. So my question will be related to their ability to pivot and specific reasons why people they pivoted away from towards. I just want to know from their perspective.
Yeah, and I mean, for me personally, after you talking about Meredith, and I'm sure a lot of us feel the same way, like, she's way back in this than I ever thought that she was, especially because how, like, hard y'all are pushing for her. My biggest thing was I had such a huge question mark for Meredith. I had no idea what she was doing. But for you guys to be so in her corner tells me she was doing fucking something right.
Yes.
And I know I felt good with Meredith, but that was clear. We all felt good with her the same way we felt good with Ross. So they were both playing the same game together. So I need to figure out which one it's going to.
Yeah.
And if one of them cuts the other, that's a huge.
Or
That would be
branded
such
See,
a dope question.
That's really what I want. But like, if you guys looked at my game and like you were rooting for it, the most similar is Meredith. And I guess she did it better because she made it farther than me.
To be fair, I think a lot of us were rooting for you because you weren't Meredith, Ross, or Jessica.
It's true.
I can see a path for Ross. I can see a path for Meredith. I want to know with how deep Brandon was, who he was working with, because I truly don't understand how Brandon got there from in the middle. I think in the middle of the game is where I don't know what Brandon did specifically to get all the way there.
I just
Whoever
want,
we vote for, this is going to be really important. So we do need to be open-minded and take this really seriously.
I just want to know what the if If Ross and Meredith played such a similar game, why did one take the backseat the whole time and one took the forefront?
It's different perspectives
Where-
because we think that Ross was in the front
That's
seat,
common.
they think that Meredith was.
But Ross,
Then let them
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
let them
let
talk
Clark.
more.
They need to explain it.
exactly.
Yes, yes. Holy.
That was iconic.
Congrats.
Oh, before you made it.
Yes. I need a snug from Heckin. Girl, they put the pot in my hand and you held your breath, girl. My butthole was in my stomach. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
You will now use your remaining seeds and banked votes to choose one person to win final immunity. You must use everything you hold in the voting booth. You cannot vote for yourself. You are allowed to pass goods during the talking period, just like an auction. The winner of final immunity will banish the fourth player. If there's a tie, all members of the tie become finalists. If there's a two-way tie, it's final two. Three-way tie, it's a final three. If there's a four-way tie, we'll figure it out.
I think everyone knows me and Meredith have been working really closely together. I want to give Meredith final immunity. And I think that we have a consensus among the people here of who she's going to take to the final three. And this is the hardest part of getting this far, is that, as I've said before, you don't get this far without trusting every person here. None of us would be here if the other ones weren't here. I trust Meredith to make the right decision, and I think we've decided that myself and Meredith and Brandon are going to go to the final three. I'm open. I don't want you to think that you have no shot. I don't think that's fair because you played so good to get here. I don't think anything's going to change my mind from putting everything in my pot whenever I go in that room to putting it on her, and then it's up to her to decide. But I guess the floor is yours if you want to say something before that happens.
I do want to say that, like with being a previous winner, and this is my first time really playing the greenhouse, I would like to be in final three to see what could happen. I think I have less ties than y'all think, because I know that y'all have also been working with other people, and I know that I have not worked aggressively with everybody. So even if I was in final three, I would not expect that many votes towards me. I definitely think people would side to who they have been playing with. And up until like midway, I would say Monopoly is when I started playing for myself. And before that, I was really la-di-da. I was really just a floater. So if that's what we want, if you know what I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, I don't have enough to influence, I think, the final immunity. But that is definitely my spiel, is that I would love to be on top three block just because of that.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't made it this far.
I don't think it's a mistake that the four of us are sitting here.
Yeah.
When I say I genuinely think the four people who played this game the best are the ones that are still here.
Yeah.
I think we're here for a reason. You can luck into it, or you can get there on purpose. And I think we got here intentionally.
Yeah. So, and you're good with that too, if Meredith has immunity to choose.
Yes, because for many reasons.
Right.
And we were in season 1 together. And that's not why, but when we played that time, I told you that in a different set of circumstances, we were on opposite sides of the house.
Yeah.
We could have and should have worked together. And I think that it could have been us sitting up in the front at that point. So coming into this game and knowing that she was playing again, I loved the way that she played so much that I knew that I wanted to go with her.
Yeah.
when we started this game, we started to keep tabs more regularly. And then as we hit this kind of end of yesterday into today, is when we started having even more real conversations. She has trusted us the last times we were in the greenhouse with her to have seeds versus flowers, which is, we could have, in a similar way to what we did with Patrick, we could have slooped her in and gotten her out, and we didn't, right? And that was a show of trust to you. So that's why for all the reasons, and like, especially today, I feel absolutely comfortable. Now, I don't have a lot to really sway, but I what I do have now, I feel fine putting forward for you to make that decision. It's not an easy one to make. I had to make it last time. It is hard to do. But, as they say in Spider-Man, with great power comes a lot of seeds, right?
Yes.
So anyway, I know that if, it's going to start being brought up, especially if I do make it to the final 3, that I was a past winner. I don't think that helps me at all. I don't. I think it hurts me. The first winner was knocked out of the first round. The second one is also not on jury. They don't want winners to win again. And that's pretty obvious. I have made it here through a series of relationships that I have been honest with every step of the way. And then over from 5 to 4 or 6 to 5 to 4 is when we were in the greenhouse and really started trying to lock in a plan. Again, I think I was everybody's friend until I wasn't. I tried not to get my hands too dirty, but when the jury started being formed is when I did start to come back up. So I don't have a lot of fans there. My goal today in this game was to prove to myself, now knowing that I knew how to play and knew people, to get this far. And I mean, you can say the exact same thing. This was my real first time, really getting in. And
you crushed.
You killed it. And I've always wanted to play with you. And when I, for season 2, I remember you were the one that everyone was excited that you were there. Which then, and then you had Lily McGill. So, So I have loved watching you play, and if it is you up there, I understand, but I do, on a personal note, I wanted, again, just to really, again, prove, I know what I'm doing, and I've made relationships at the right time that I needed to and wanted to, and I've had people's backs when the moments really counted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, and I wanted to add, I do as well trust your opinion, and especially I think a lot of this boiling down to this, not unanimous, you know what I mean, but collective. And so I agree as well. And I do trust your judgment, and I know that we've made, y'all have made promises, and like you said, not blowing smoke. I just know that, I would like to be in the top 3. So, Avi.
Right.
Yes. So, but I would really, 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 really love. So that's all I have to say, though, and I'm gonna let you make the tough decision and just kick it.
And I'm gonna try to stay calm. I want to say to you guys how much I appreciate and cannot believe the trust you're putting in me and the value you hold for me as a player. It's getting spicy.
Spicy.
And especially hearing from you, the winner of the season that I was in, just it being recognized how hard I fought in the game that I played, because it is hard to walk away. Not only not a winner, but 6th place when so often it was within reach.
Mm-hmm.
But to be seen and to be valued, but also by people I've never met. That you guys were willing to like come on this ride with me and to trust me when I came to you, and to trust me right now with, you know, one of the most important decisions of this game.
Yeah.
The fact that like I am in this position means the world to me. This has been such an exceptional game, and we have been through the ringer today. Personally, emotionally, just having to wheel down these last few numbers has been so hard because the problem is I got here with people I continue to work with, and there were too many of them. Like, I have been so lucky in this game with the friendships I have been able to make. Not calling them alliances, they're friendships.
Yeah.
And so I just want to thank you guys. It does mean the world. I'm so exceptionally honored. I'm so lucky to be here with all of you.
Yeah.
Incredible game. Absolutely phenomenal game. And you all have been incredible.
Yep.
And I have loved this journey.
Yep. Are you gonna give me yours?
I am gonna grab them, split them up,
Okay.
and not count because you guys have agreed to go with me.
Okay.
And so you're not gonna fuss.
Okay.
So.
Thanks.
I don't know what that is. I don't know how to count. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Work.
Okay. What's going on is that we collectively decided that Meredith would be the person to get full immunity, and she would make the choice between Brandon and I. I've pleaded my case that I would love to stay, but they've kind of really established that the other three will be top three. I would freaking love to spice it up and just put these in a different pot, but final immunity will be announced before she decides, of course. And if those seeds are not in that pot, obviously I don't even have a chance.
I'm voting for Meredith to have final immunity. I've told her from the beginning I think she is the best. For Meredith.
Very good, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This person has been probably my #1 ally for as close to the entire game as I can remember. I can't remember a time not working with her. I've trusted her completely, and I'm going to continue to do so. I'm going to vote with all of my seats that I have, and bank votes for Meredith.
Thank you so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have nothing to give. I gave them to my friends because they said they would give them to me, which is such a high honor to be given this trust and put in this position. And they said such nice things about me. So no votes for me. Just putting my faith in my allies one last time.
Welcome to the Final Four! The final results are in. I would like my Final Four to come in, please. Yes, come on. Ross, Meredith, Jessica, Brandon. Please stand behind the chairs. Well, for our Final Four.
But alas, we cannot remain Final Four. So I will reveal the results of the voting for the final immunity. Everyone ready? I will reveal one at a time. With 0 votes for final immunity, Jessica. With 0 votes for immunity, Ross. With a unanimous 19 votes for final immunity, congratulations, Meredith. You have final immunity. Will the three vulnerable players please have a seat?
Meredith, please join me. Each of you will have a chance to make your final plea to Meredith.
We've been working together since the beginning. I trust you completely. I wouldn't have done that if I didn't. So I trust you and congratulations.
Thank you. Jessica.
I think that we together have been very honest from the beginning and vibing from the beginning. I think I was everybody's friend, but not everybody's ally. And I even have a couple of enemies. So I definitely don't think, it's friendly. I don't think that I'm the most friendly for sure. I think that, other players have played well and worked more with others. I definitely think that I've flowed by between who is up against as well. We have a previous winner who has already been a top 3. And I know that I would love to fill a spot on the top 3, to have the chance. I definitely know already I have been the most improved player, but to put in top 3 and to see what could happen, that would be amazing as well. Even if, it's 3rd runner-up, girl. But I definitely think that, compared to everybody the final 4 that we have, I don't think that I'm the biggest target. So I definitely think that, use your best judgment and, congrats to everybody here.
Thank you, Jessica. Brandon?
I think the world of you. I'll tell it to anyone who will ask me. I wanted to play with you in the first time we played, and we ended up on different sides. I made it a point this time to grab you in the beginning and say, let's keep in touch until we got to where we needed to really start putting things in action. I think we've done that together. I've put my full trust in you, and I've made a lot of enemies along the way. But I would love to sit next to you in the final 3. I have been here before, as we know, not with you, and not under these circumstances where I feel like this time I am proud of what I did, and I want to sit next to the people up here. So, congrats to you as well.
Thank you, Brandon. Meredith, please cast your vote.
First of all, thank you all for putting your trust in me. I consider this an extremely high honor, and I have enjoyed playing with you guys so much. It has been an incredible experience. And with that being said, for better or for worse, I have made commitments, and it is who I am to honor them. And so I'm sorry, Jessica, but I have been working with you guys for a long time, and they're the ones who I promised would be here with me, and I have immensely enjoyed working with you. But that was never something that we had to go on, and thank you for an amazing game.
Welcome to the finale! Our final 3, Brandon, Meredith, and Ross, congratulations. You each have one chance to say your final statements to the jury before they begin their questions.
Hey everyone, good to see you all again. We have played a hell of a game these past 3 days. I don't know about y'all, there's varying levels of how many times you guys have played these games. This is my second one. I thought the first one was intense and like crazy, and I spent probably the next 10 days, a month after I played the first one, and anyone who gave me half of a second to talk about how insane and fun and unique the games were over here, I took that half a second and talked their ear off. And that one had nothing on what transpired over the past 3 days. So I know that all the questions will come about why I deserve to be the winner of this season, and I'm going to answer all of them as honestly as possible. And I guess the quick outline is that I think I was on the bottom to start with, and I managed to make it all the way here. I think that I was as loyal as I could be. I'm sure some of you think otherwise. And I think I played incredibly strategically as well in competitions. I'm the only person, as far as I know, ever to be in the greenhouse 3 times in a row. So I'll not talk too long because I'm looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. But good to see you all and happy that I'm here.
Meredith? I came into the season a little bit worried, possibly arrogantly, that I would be a target from the beginning because of my track record winning competitions and securing immunity for myself. I thought people might be afraid of me because of that. So I was surprised to come in and find that I was not really considered a threat. But that gave me the opportunity that I was looking for. That in my first season, and in the other games I've played, I am not known as a social player. That has always been my weakness, that I relied on that immunity to make it anywhere, in any game, because I was not the person to make friends. I was not the person to have solid alliances, especially not long term. I came into this game with the goal of playing more strategically, playing more socially, and doing things that I hadn't done before, and being more bold in my game, and not just defaulting to safety where I can snatch it. And I am honestly just so proud of myself for succeeding so wildly at that task. My entrance said, if you can't beat me, you might as well join me. And you, in that moment, said you would join me. And I was astounded by how many people came to me and made me social offers and what I was able to do with that. I'm excited to have been a more well-rounded player and to be such an improved player. In my first season, I felt so strongly that I deserved to be in the final because of how hard I worked to get there. But I think the game I played then is nothing compared to the game I have played this time. And I really enjoyed this experience, but I feel like I was extremely competitive. I made moves that changed this game fundamentally, and I was an integral part of a lot of big rounds, and I think that speaks to my agency in this game. I think I deserve to win because I feel like I really truly played the game I came here to play.
Thank you. Brandon?
Hey everyone. So, first time I played, it was a new game. No one had played before. I had never played a Luke game before. This was my first time ever dipping my toe into what I think is the most bizarrely cool experience. So, just a quick shout out to Taylor. And I found in that experience that one of the things that I understood about the game was the importance of being social and having a social game. And learning the difference on the spot in real time that time of when a promise is being made, like you were saying, versus when to make those promises, right? When do you make the alliance? What is the time limit on that alliance? I stumbled, I hiccuped, I wasn't by any means like a comp beast, and I was criticized at the time for not making big moves. This time coming into the game, I wanted to do 2 things, at least. I wanted to use my strength, which I think I did well. I talked to every person in this house. I had a relationship with almost every person in this house at some point or another. This game identified the way that we played this All-Star season. When people were in clear alliances, they became targets. You can look at every person that was eliminated, and usually it was because they were in cahoots with somebody, and we wanted to separate the alliance. When I caught that pattern, I made sure to up my social game to make sure that I was good with everyone, but not perfect with anyone, so that I wasn't the number one target. I was nominated one time, I believe. And I pulled myself off the block. I'm proud of the game that I played. I feel like I wanted to be feeling like this in this chair versus last time when I sat in the chair and did, oh, how the fuck did that happen? So, like I said, I played an intentional game today. I'm happy to answer your questions. It was so much fun playing with all of you, and especially with you two.
The jurors have a statement to make.
Yes.
Christian is representing.
As the mayor of the jury, the first juror, I got to see everyone come in one by one to this jury, and I know we are all very passionate about this game. We are all very opinionated as well. We want to hear that passion and aggressiveness from each of you. I don't want y'all to pussyfoot around on that chair and just say bullshit. We want to hear your games, okay? Y'all are very deserving, okay? We want to hear it. I'm going to leave it to Brody.
First off, congrats to each of you three. You all made it to the spot we could not. That being said, I'm so fucking bored. All of you sat there, talked about the friendships you made, the relationships you built today, in generalities. Not one of you said a move specifically that you made, or anything you did to separate yourself from the other two people you're sitting next to. So my question is, did each of you do individually that separates you from the people you're next to?
Great. A perfect example, Patrick. I led the charge on Patrick. I can tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah. So how it really started was Lily was kind of the clear nominee at the time. It looked like Lily was going home. We talked about Uproot, and then we started to piece it together. Well, you know, Ross was thinking about putting up me or you. Me as a pawn, you as a pawn. I talked to Lily. I said, what if we can get Ross on board with putting Patrick up, not as a pawn? Do we have the seats to make it happen? She said yes. I said I would help her. I also said I'll help you even more if you pass that uproot to me. And that way I'm also safe. Now, that may have been a conversation that they had also had previously, but I know that from the side where I was talking with Lily, that was something that we did talk about. So that was that.
You know when you weren't bored earlier today? We got you out.
Yeah.
So I guess one of my biggest moves was doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that everyone knows your game, and we know that you're really good at sticking around until it's too late to get you out. And you made a career out of it. And so I think that when we kind of wrapped up last night and I woke up this morning, it was the first opportunity we get. We cannot let this guy go any further because you only get so many shots. You only get so many chances to take the shot. Getting you out was dangerous because if I didn't get you out, I knew you were coming for me. You made a mistake not coming for me the first night after I tried to fly trap you. I wasn't going to miss again, and I didn't.
Let's all be honest. Taking Brody out was an easy shot. We were all in agreement on that.
It was an easy shot.
Yes, that was. We all woke up this morning saying Brody's out first chance, and we were handed a golden opportunity that we were in charge of the outcome of the first challenge we had. If that's like the biggest game-changing thing that you did, that was a unanimous house decision. Personally, I think one of the major turning points of this game was something that I did. I nominated Thomas and Shakira, neither of whom is here right now. And those were dangerous people. That was a consolidation of power. I have heard that season 3 was in that together. And I felt the need to put a stop to it. And I was told by many people no one else was going to be brave enough to do it. And I did. And it was not a safe shot because Brody was alone. It was unanimous. I had to deal with whoever survived that vote. And I had Thomas gunning for me when I was gunning for Thomas. I was not safe for several rounds. And still, Thomas is not here. I am. And that's because we did a Venus flytrap. And I won't deny that the Venus flytrap is not my MO, and I was a little hesitant on that. But at the end of the day, I was on board with that. That was my team orchestrating that, so I was, of course, part of that narrative. And I did change that from a Venus flytrap of Christian to a flytrap of Thomas, because I was working with Christian. I was going to be as loyal to him as I possibly could be, and I felt far more danger from Thomas. So I demanded that for my seeds to be involved in this and for my allies to do something with my permission, that would be Thomas and Thomas alone. I was not safe for so much of this game today, but I was able to trust my allies, and I think that speaks to the kind of player I am and the kind of trust I have earned in this game. Despite the fact that I am making these moves, I have taken people out, I did what I came to do, and I did what I said I would do the vast majority of the time. And I feel like a lot of these moves deserve your respect.
Thank you all for answering with specifics. I do want to address one thing one of you said in your opening statement. Ross, you said no one has been to the greenhouse 3 times in a row. I would like to say I went 5 times in a row.
Oh my
this
God.
game. So
Yeah.
5 times in a row.
Great answers, though. My lord.
That's what we're talking about.
Killed that.
So, my perception is that I saw Ross took shots at every point of the game. I saw Meredith took shots at every point of the game. Brandon, I want to know in the middle of the game, so not, I would say from, wait, we're not in order, whatever. Brandon, I want to know something you did, you led the charge on in the mid-game that got you further.
In the split house, Thomas picked that group very intentionally with Claire as the target. That was Thomas's move. When Shane flipped and went, and I want to explain this, you flipped on us, not with them, which is good gameplay. It sounded like you were we came back as a unified group and we were going to stick together to beat the other side of the house. And then we get here, you and I are having a conversation about Flytrap, and you essentially say, no, I don't think it's happening. And 3 minutes later, it not only happened, but you contributed, and then you walked up to us and told us. That's when I woke up and realized we're in a new phase, and I need to start having a bit more of an active voice. Shane was a big part of that for me, getting him out, because I thought I was next. So I ran a campaign to flip that to Shane. I had a reason to, because of of the jail and the blocking me from getting Sunflower when I wanted it, etc. Which, again, great move. But that meant that I now have a target on me. You want power, and you're clearly coming for me. I was able to flip you off of these guys, and they kept me instead of you. So you may not have seen that, but that's where I was doing. There was never a moment in this game when I was sitting in the living room drinking water. I was in somebody's camera.
What is a highlighting instance of manipulation? Who did you perform it against, and how? And I want to start with Ross.
I think the biggest manipulation I've done throughout this entire game is Jessica has been my sweet baby for possibly all yesterday. We have been tight. And you made Final Four, and when I say I wouldn't be here without you, I mean it. But Jessica was told that she had a chance to come to the end with us, and that was probably not going to happen. And I was able to have Jessica be a number for me more or less the entire day yesterday and most of today. And I knew full well that likely wouldn't end up with her sitting up here. And it doesn't feel good as a person. And it was still the right move to make in the game. And I think that being that we're all adults, we know what we're signing up for. I think that you can respect it, especially as good of a game player as you are. But I've been manipulating Jessica for the last 48 hours or so into being a number for me, and it has helped get me here.
I'll start by saying manipulation is not my favorite thing. I try to be straightforward with people when I can. I'm not the best liar, but that being said, do it when I have to. My personal favorite of the game is Dear Sweet Ava. When we were in the split house, we pretty much easily decided that she was going to be the target, but we were worried that in the reconvening she would have allies and resources on the other side, so we needed her to have absolutely no idea that she was the target, so she would ask for nothing and have no chance at uproot, because we needed that to go smoothly. And I do believe, could be wrong, but I do believe I was the first person to recognize that as a threat and to say, we have to absolutely convince her that she is 100% safe. And Jessica was our other nominee in that situation, and so I took her outside and we walked through what that was going to entail. And we had a little session of here's what we have to do. She has one seed in the cup. She can't afford uproot. We're shaking around the seed and practicing for what you're going to tell Ava. And we're going over some of the lines to drop. And then we spend the rest of that round. I mostly avoided her, to be perfectly honest, because I don't love lying to people's faces.
Is that why you held me hostage for half the 15 minutes?
I was not sure how you felt about her, so when you started asking what we were doing, I was trying to get out of you if you would care, and if I could tell you the truth about that situation or not. And we got interrupted by Claire coming in full tears, so we never got to resolve that conversation. Didn't mean to hold you hostage that whole time, but I was trying to get information out of you to see if I felt like I could trust you, or if I had to hide that from you until it was too late for you to change that. Because you were on the other side, I didn't know if you were going to help her or warn her, so I felt like I had to keep you at a distance until you confirmed for me what your situation was with Ava. And then I had a conversation with her right before the auction ended, and she said she had just talked to Patrick, and she felt good with him, so he had put in some good lies for me, and the voters were myself, Patrick, and Lily, I believe. And so what I said to her, after she said, I've talked to Patrick and I feel good with him, I won't buy uproot if you tell me right now that I am safe. And so what I said to her is, Patrick, Lily, and I have talked and we are on the same page.
Wow.
So I did not lie. But she said, okay, perfect, I will not purchase uproot, and that sealed her fate, and that went off without a hitch. So that is my favorite manipulation of this game. Personally, I felt like that one went really well.
Good. Mine is something I've already talked about, but I'll give the manipulation side of it, and it is Patrick. But I saw the writing on the wall for me if I didn't take action. I knew that I was good enough with these two, but I knew that they were closer to him, and I knew that when we got into this kind of speed round of greenhouse competitions, once again, I'm not known to be a competition winner all of the time, and you are. So there was an opportunity to do it. We had the seeds. On an uproot, it got up to 16 or 17. So 17 and 16 seeds on an uproot going back and forth. And we never wavered. We knew it was happening. Before it happened, I tried to talk to you and say, it's going to be me or you, but, the house is with Lily. The house is to get Lily out here. To surprise you a little bit whenever the chaos started going. And I made the move to get Lily to help me as well. I said, and she needed more seeds. Plot twist, she was completely out. If you would have gotten Meredith's last seed, it could have tied, and it would have gone to a random. Boo. Yeah.
That's on me.
No, and I don't think you knew that.
And you... No.
And I said, we have the seats. And that's all I would say. So, but to take someone as big as you by as surprise, in such a surprising way, I'm happy with that.
In our season, I ended up casting my vote for the person who I felt did the best job at taking a situation throughout the game and pivoting away from people and pivoting to people. Y'all have kind of talked about this already, but I would love to hear more about different times that you pivoted in this game at any point, because this game was 3 days and I've not had enough. I don't think enough has been given to yesterday as well, because that was a huge time in the game. So any move is welcome to be heard. But a time that you pivoted away from people, who you pivoted away, why you pivoted away from them, who you pivoted to, why you pivoted to them. Start with Grant.
Okay. Like I said, up until today, every major alliance that I had started dying because they were eliminated. I had to pivot this whole goddamn game, which I think worked to my benefit because, again, I didn't become a target of being in a specific pair or trio. Toward the beginning, Thomas had approached me. First of all, everybody approaches everybody about I really like working with you, and we should let's keep in touch. Let's keep it together. Thomas came up to me and told me that he saw me, him, and Shakira. I know how well Thomas plays. I know how well Shakira played, obviously. So I was like, work. As it goes, the house keeps going. I voted to get Shakira out. I saw the way the house was moving, and I knew that plan would no longer work. So I started really feeding into my relationship with Christian. I trusted Christian, which I have been warned and played with him to know not to do for a long extended time, but when it's in his favor, it's good. Brody and I touched base several times, and I really do think that in a different universe, we would have worked together more from the beginning, and I would have, I look forward to the day when we do get to do that. You might be my Meredith for this one, you know what I mean? And for the round that you were going out, I joked that everyone kind of woke up, stretched, had coffee, and said, let's get Brody out. But you approached me first, and I was ready to do that until I saw the house moving in your direction. Now, if you watch anything, you'll see me throughout the game openly saying, when are we going for Brody? Why are we not going for Brody? Mm-hmm. When you were on the block in the second week, you had a couple votes against you. Twas I. I could not vote against you. Brody's on the block. Brody is a strong competitor that will win. Why is Brody here? Right? So, I was moving and shaking all game. I was closer with Abrielle and with Lily when we got into this final day today in 6. But when the way the challenges were working out and they weren't winning as much and I was winning with these guys, it became clear to me that I needed to solidify this if I wanted to be in this chair. So I had to pivot away from them as well. And that's that ability, and you can only do that if you have talked, again, to every person in the game, give them information that they want, and let them know what they need to know.
The first person to approach me in this game and say, you are my number one, I'm all in with you, I'm sticking with you from this point until the end of the game, I want to be in a final 2 with you, was Gavin. Minute 1 of this game. I've never seen this man before in my life. But 20 minutes into the game, he comes to me with this. I had a few conversations with him and involving him, liked him so far, and was like, I can work with that. I came into this game saying that I've never had an alliance from week 1, week 2, those early solid things that I've seen succeed for other people. I've always wanted that. And so someone came to me and was like, you're my number one. I want to play with you. And that's he said that was just going to be his strategy, to choose one person and revolve his game around them. It's like, I've never been so honored in my life. This was the most exciting thing that could happen to me. Oh, damn! So of course I have to pivot in that situation because that was my first idea. Joining up with Ross was a big pivot for me. That at that point I did have a lot of good options, but I feel like we, at some point like early yesterday, maybe like round 3, got together after a challenge and said like, we haven't talked a ton, but the vibes are great, right? And we agreed on that, and we sort of locked into that despite not having had a ton of contact prior to that, and so leaning into that was one of my major pivots. And so that was a thing that obviously really benefited my game because we have worked exceptionally well together.
I'm not sure if you guys remember the first night me and Brody didn't necessarily get on the same side of the aisle. And there was what I felt an above 50-60% chance that I was going home that night. And there was probably about what I thought a 50 or 60% chance that Brody was going to be one of the first few gone the next day because I had gone against him and he had painted a big target on his back. And the pivot that we made was to, you're in trouble and I'm in trouble. Let's be in trouble together. And so we started working. And that pivot lasted all the way to the point where we got Patrick in with us. And I'm sorry, Brady, we stole your cactus from you. And we were literally in a room and we were all like, what's happening? Or like they're forcing us into the corner. We don't even want to work together. We don't like each other, but they're making us do it. So we were like, all right, I guess we'll pivot and work together. And so that was one of the pivots. I think just from jump, I knew I was going to be comfortable with my season 4 people. I didn't realize that that was the wrong attitude to come into this house with on that night. I think that we had to quickly pivot away from that mindset. And then I don't know if I consider Meredith as much a pivot as much it was exactly what you said. We kind of like put some feelers out, and then when we really sat down we were like, wait, I think this can work. And that's one pivot I haven't made is I had said that I had a final 2 with I think Brody at some point. That was never a thing. I had said that I had a final 3 with me, Meredith, and Shane. That was a thing until we couldn't do it anymore. I said I had a final 3 with me, Meredith, and Patrick. That was a thing until we couldn't do it anymore. And then I said I had a final 3 with me, Meredith, and Brandon. And that is the 3 of us sitting up here right now.
My question, like getting here and how I've played this game differently, is personally self-reflection. As in, I went back and watched the previous seasons that I was in and how I played. And I don't mean to disrespect T. I was so pissed after season 2. I did not watch season 2, and season 3 hadn't aired. And so then I just went in blind for season 4, right? And ended up doing the same thing. But what I'm saying is that and how I played differently this time, it was because I did that self-reflection. But to me, that shows people call them regrets. And I call them, happy mistakes because we got to learn from them. So in this game, whether it be like social things, votes, even the small challenges that we did, do you have regrets? And if so, what was your biggest regret in this game?
So, okay. That's not where I thought the question was going, so I was prepping a different answer.
Hot.
Keep on your toes! I do feel like I played very well, and so I think when it comes down to it, my biggest regret is, I think, in the middle and latter half of today, how confusing things got and how much I felt like I might have to compromise the game I wanted to play. The fact that I went to Abrielle and Brandon in good faith and proposed a new trio as something that I might be interested in doing. and then immediately like going into a confessional and being like, what have I done? And like 2 minutes later going into a room with Ross in which he was like, final three, me, you, and Patrick, like we've been all in. I love working with you. And I was like, I'm too soft for this. I can't. I hate betraying people. And like I shook your hand on that. I was like, okay, so now I have to back out of this thing with Brandon and Abrielle. I can't go through with that. But then you guys approached me and were like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, and so we had a lot of chaos in those couple of rounds, and there was an idea to blindside Abrielle, and that was making me physically sick to my stomach. Like, you kept checking in on me, asking if I needed, like, water and food, and I was like, I need to not betray you. And I think I was trying to do too many things in one round, and that ended up working out for me, obviously. And so it's hard, to regret something in a game where, like, obviously I'm still sitting here, but I think that is the single round in which, like, I was talking to you guys. I had made, a long-term deal with you guys, and that was shaking your hand, I think was the first time I truly committed to a final anything. And I was getting backed into every corner. I was in a box, and that was terrifying, and it made me really realize I needed to make a decision and prioritize what I needed to do, because I hated playing the game that way, of promising too many people too many different things. That's not who I am. That's not how I play this game. I deliberately avoided making those kinds of promises so that I didn't have to break them. That is not what I wanted to do, and I just had such, like, icky feelings, and just, like, I was in a haze that round because of how much I just wanted it to end and be out of that situation. I thought I was going to cry.
I'll go. I left everything on the table on this game. I came and brought everything I had. All the what I knew I could do, and some ways that I wanted to try. I also prepped for this game, and just kind of reflecting on who are the power players and how do they play, but why don't they win? Brody, Christian, Claire, Thomas, my friends that I know that have played these games that tend to end up right there or right here, but never quite all the end. I wanted to know what they did and how they did it. So I don't have many regrets. I say all of that to say I went in with very, I just wanted to leave nothing on the table like I did last time. I felt that I did last time. If there is one, it is during Monopoly, saying in round 1 of 6 what I wanted. And kind of saying it so loudly. Because I was actually blindsided. Even though, you had already betrayed us, you know what I'm saying at this point. Well,
go on.
You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
To me, you were with me, so I was betrayed.
Right.
So I don't know why I decided to blab with you in the room. That made no sense. I honestly didn't think that you were ballsy enough to make that kind of move. Also, no one had ever been put in jail before. So I forgot jail was a thing. I was on my way. John Michael got the shot of the century. Props to you. So I regret that. But I do not regret what immediately happened next, which was intentional to a T. I am not someone who throws a fit. I am a cool, calm, and collected person. Y'all know this. I screamed at the top of my lungs when everyone was in there, and then when everyone came back about what happened and who did it and why it happened, to get the house ready to go for you. That is not who I am as a person. That was a choice to do. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
And I wanted to show people, again, I've been critiqued on not making big enough moves and just kind of playing the middle. I wanted to show that don't cross me or you will get out. And the 2 people that ever threatened me, I got out. So I don't have a lot of regrets.
I don't really have many game regrets because I think I didn't play flawlessly. You can't play. It's a 72-hour marathon. But I think I played pretty damn near flawlessly for the hand that I was dealt. And by the way, not everyone walks into these things equal. When you walk into these games in season 4, not many people had played the loot game. None of us knew each other. This time, we were all on the internet for about 30 hours. We knew what each other was about, and it was go from jump. And so as far as game-wise go, no one was going to play a perfect game without a hiccup or two. But I gotta say, I played pretty damn near perfect because I probably should have been one of the first people out of the entire game. And I'm sitting up here. And y'all had the opportunity twice on the first night with a vote and a fly trap to get me out. And y'all didn't do it. So from a game-wise, I can't think of a regret that I have. From an emotional person-wise, I think I should have. I was so tense after that first night. Because in the first greenhouse that I played, you walked in and the first round was very much like, hi, nice to meet you. I don't know. You're getting to know each other. We walked in and it was season 4 this person that, immediately. And so I think that got me on such a level of like tenseness and nervousness that I didn't do a good enough job from like, Shane and Brody are going to hate this part, from like a human standpoint of when things were past the point of where a person couldn't do anything about it, and I could have told them to where maybe they wouldn't have been blindsided by something. I was so freaked out by the game that I still didn't tell them, and I think if I would be in my right mind, I would have told them. And so that is probably if I have any regrets, it's that I didn't tell someone that they were in trouble or gone when it was past the point where they couldn't do anything about it.
Good answer. Good answer, Dolly.
And now, last but not least, Grandmama.
I'm back. I won't lie, y'all. I'm still not locked. So my question for you, the best for last. Whose jury vote do you think you have and why? And let me be very clear. I don't want no cop-outs. I want, who do you think you have and exactly why? No detail is too small because at this point, I know where I stand. I don't know where they stand. The margin could be razor thin. Own your shit. Don't own shit you didn't do.
Yep.
And
no generality.
Who do you got?
Yep.
Why do you think? Give it to me.
Who you got?
I honestly don't see how anyone who played the game as long as y'all did would have another opinion on how it could be me or Meredith. I think Brandon played an excellent game. He didn't play the game Meredith and I played. And we were the 2 best players in this house, and I think I am just this much better than her. But in the case of this game, that's got to be enough. Brody, we went from mortal enemies the first night to working together. If there's anyone in this game that respects that nothing's personal, after a round clears, it starts fresh. Let's get this thing going, and let's make it to the next round, and after that, it's you, and it's you. When I went to my confessional to make, you'll see, episode whatever where you get out, I said, I don't like doing this on a personal level, but if anyone's going to respect the move from a game point, it's going to be Shane. He's going to like that I'm doing this. I'm voting for Shane. Brady, you should vote for me because you were in dire straits at some point, at a lot of points throughout the game. And whenever you were looking for security, you knew who to come to. And it was me and Meredith and Patrick. And guess what? You found some security and we got you through however the next few rounds until, unfortunately, you couldn't. Christian, I don't know if I have your vote. Ariel, we're 5th buddies. I know that last time I went out 5th, you went out 5th, we bonded over it. That's probably why we talked in the first place and we had a good working relationship the whole time. You lasted long enough to see how good we were. And if you think Meredith was running the show, you should vote for her. But I was running the show. And so I think you should vote for me. Patrick, you saw it too. You were on the inside. The three of us, I mean, we couldn't do it without the three of us. But I think we know that if you take the summation of everyone's game as far as greenhouse wins, competitions, I don't know if you guys know this, I never sat on the block one time until final elimination. So just, I guess, keep that in mind. As someone who understands this game as well as anyone, I think you can respect that I was never sweating when it came to announcing the votes because I was always on that couch. And Jessica, my baby, I'm sorry that our relationship had to end the way it did, but I know that you respect me from a game point of view, and you should know that I respect you too. And I think you got to see as close as anyone, maybe besides Meredith, how good I was playing this game because you were one of my closest allies.
I think Ross makes a great point that we played a game together. We played very similar games, but I think he's wrong about the fact that he played a better game than me and that he was running the show. He could not have done almost anything that he did without me, and most of that without Patrick and or Shane as well. I think the main difference between us is that Ross made almost no moves that I didn't also make, and you keep leaving my name out of these conversations, like, oh, the Venus flytrap out there on that porch, and you're naming Shane and Patrick. I was there, and you were naming something earlier you did with Patrick that I was there for. I was a part of everything that you did. If you think you're running it, I guess that's fine, and that's going to be your narrative, but I thought we were a team, and I think I was part of all of those moves, but I also made moves on my own that he did not make. I was the one who gunned for Thomas and Shakira on my own. I was the one who made a path for myself in case things fell through on the other side of things. I was playing my own game. I was keeping social relationships with pretty much everyone at every point and giving myself options throughout this game. And I feel like I did have good relationships with all of you. I think I'm most confident in Patrick's vote, that we've been so solid throughout this game that...
Don't you copycat me? She's Patrick.
That we implicitly started trusting each other, and we built and built and built on that. And we also have fun together. And I think I have a lot of faith that you respect my game, that you respect the way that I have played it, and maybe I don't have as many competitive wins and greenhouse things, but you were there for that, and you know that a lot of those for me were conscious decisions to not draw attention to myself as someone who is called the comp beast. I did not want that target on my back, and guess who the eyes were on when people didn't like our power? It was those two. My name was very rarely the one that was going to be in deep trouble. People were shouting Ross, people were shouting Patrick, and Patrick's the one that's out. I'm the one that's sitting here because I was able to play an extremely strong game and still be sitting here because I had people's trust. People saw potential with me. They saw that they could keep me if they were disabling my allies, and I had worth in that sense. And I sat on the block several times, and I survived that. I feel like it's kind of easy to never be on the block and never face that kind of danger. I think it means more to survive that and to have the ability to do so, whether it's the resources to buy an uproot with the seeds that I have, or to simply have the votes with the allies that I knew that I had, and the confidence to put myself in those situations at the times that I was a pawn. So I'm fairly confident that I have Patrick's vote. Since you've worked more with Jessica, I think that one could go either way, but I do think Ross and I share a similar case, even though we work together for less time. I feel like, Christian, I might have done enough to sway you, despite the fact that things didn't work out for us. You do respect power moves, and eliminating you was one of my most powerful moves, and it had to happen. I think I could have anyone's vote, because what are you looking for? Are you looking for someone who made cutthroat moves and changed this game and had turning points in this season? I did that. I had those as part of my narrative. Do you want someone who played an honest game, who put their best effort into social relationships and tried to stay true to people and let them know what was coming for them, and to do everything that I could to be proud of the game that I played from an integrity standpoint? Because I did that as well. That was not perfect, but I am proud of the game that I played as far as honesty and trust that I was able to build. And coming from someone who had no ability as a social player prior to now, that is a stack of 19 chips that people unanimously said, Meredith is the one. Meredith is in charge of this game from this point forward because I'm the one who earned his trust and his trust. Abrielle said she would let me do open heart surgery on her. Jessica gave me her trust. I had Patrick's trust. I had trust from each of you to various extents at various points in this game. And I worked well with each of you when I was able to, and I think, especially the 4 of you on this end, who were, the tricksters and the people playing both sides, you were the ones who were going to respect the fact that you had to get cut when you got caught. And when your time came, that I was a part of the initiative to get you out. This was the Shady Boy segment of the game. And we got it. And I love that for you guys.
I was like, I figured that.
But I do think
Bitch, I was the start of it.
I do think that you guys are people who would respect my gameplay because I do think I am the person who is most well-rounded and balances the aspects of my gameplay. So I feel like I have done enough to earn that by besting you guys as competitors in this game and by having the strategy that I did. And Abrielle, I don't know where I stand with you when you're the one saying that your vote is not bought, but we had a great relationship throughout this game. And because we are such similar players, I feel like you might end up going with me. Because it could easily be you here instead of me if you had done some things ever so slightly differently. But you and I are the same. And if you value your own game, then you should be valuing mine as well.
I hope to have Christian's vote. When we played the first time, I did not have your vote at the end. And I agreed with that at that time. I think I've earned it this time. And if I had a goal coming in, it was to get to this chair and to feel myself like I earned it and like I played the game the way it is designed to be played. I think I figured out the greenhouse. I think I learned the rules. But I think I have figured out how to get here and how to do it on my own. While not on my own, but with keeping myself number one at all times. There's a difference, right? You have to, this is a social game, a relationship building game. You cannot make it here without putting, the literal last round of the game is to give everything you have to someone else and trust that they are going to repay you the favor. You have to be able to do that. I did it well the first time. I did it even better the second time because until a couple of rounds ago, I was not supposed to be here. So I have shown that. I'm saying Christian specifically because I didn't earn your vote the first time, and I think I've more than proven that I have earned it this time. And Christian and Brody and Patrick and Jessica, especially, I want to say for y'all that have played many of these games, Abrielle as well. Well, everyone, obviously, it's Allstars, we've all played a game. But I'm talking about the OGs here that I knew as lore coming in, right? Look out for Jessica, look out for Christian, look out for Brody. That's what I'm talking about when I say I watched how you all played and I tried to fold that into my game this time with my twist on it to get me here again. But to get me here and to feel like I deserve to be in this seat. And that is how I feel to be here. When I say I played the game as it's designed, I mean that from the sense of we like to talk about who's running the house. And I think a lot of people associate that with competition wins or who was in the greenhouse and who was nominating. I do not consider that to be what runs the house, and especially in the beginning. What I know to be running the game is watching whoever's in power make the nominees and then controlling the narrative, or being a part of it, and passing information when it needs to be passed, and not passing information when it doesn't need to be passed, thinking this round, next round, long game, 3 different things simultaneously. It is a difficult game to do. This is extremely hard. Like, pulling it into 3 days is even more difficult. I don't know what the real world is like. I'm going to need counseling after this. Except I have a Succession finale to watch, which is only going to fuck me up. So I think that I hope to have Christian's vote. I hope to have Brody's vote. And I hope to have Jessica's vote and Patrick's vote at least. And I say that because I know you all to be ones that have played this type of thing a long time. I feel like I came in later in life when you all really had shit figured out. And I've had to learn a lot very quickly. This is my second game, period. Not second greenhouse. This is it for me. And I won last time because I was with 2 people who made a lot of noise, and I was a safe choice. I have admitted that from the first day, from the day that I won. It was exciting to win, but I didn't feel like I had really earned it. I think I earned it this time. I think that I don't really want to talk negatively about them, so I won't. They played great games, but I think you are right that we played different games. I think it's how you view gameplay. And what I know to be true, having been in this spot in the greenhouse twice now, is I trust my game, and it's gotten me here. So I have put the best of what I've seen into what I know to do. It worked. I'm proud of myself, and I hope I can vote. I've said what I can say. Like I said, my main goal today, this week, was to come back and earn my place here and feel good about it to me. So I am satisfied with that. I would love for that to be an example of how to win this game. Because I think in the future, this is how people should play. I think I have betrayed the least amount of people. Certainly not anyone I was working with closely before I got a chance to tell them. I don't blindside people. If someone turned on me, that creates a different situation where I feel like I can be a little sneaky. I made power moves. I won challenges when it really, really mattered, right? It matters in the end who's in power because there are less and less people to pick from, and I did that. I'm very proud of the game that I played. I'm very proud to be sitting next to these 2. I knew that signing up with this, it'd be a tough jury because of how great of a game they played. And when I made the decision to go with them instead of you and Lily, essentially, I knew that might fuck me in the end. But I don't think it should, because I think this is how the game should be played and should be won. So if you agree, I hope I have your vote, and I will yield 7 seconds.
Meredith, 90 seconds.
And yeah, endless respect for the both of you, but I do think I played the best game out of the 3 of us. Brendan makes a great case for his game, but I didn't play that quiet game of watching. I played an active game, and I didn't play a game that relied on other people like Ross did. I made a way for myself. And I played every aspect of this game. That pile of seeds, 19 I think, 10 of them are mine. I had more seeds at the end than every other player left combined. I had used Uproot, I bought Green Thumb, I am engaging with the auction, which I didn't really do in my first game. I was on the block, I survived it. I made moves on my own, I made moves with a team. And I think, for me, above all, I played the social game I have never played before. I was never able to do that, and I made it happen, and I did it above and beyond my wildest dreams. How much I had options and flexibility in this game because I was actually making good social connections, and I had alliances, and they moved and they changed, but the important ones stayed the same, and that at the end of the day is what got me here, and knowing how to prioritize and value that is, I think, an exceptional quality. and I made my competitive wins without relying on it. I was in the greenhouse, I did all of it, and I couldn't have done it without my allies, but I feel like I really did it on my own, and I fought for it, and I'm here and I earned it.
Okay, Ross, 90 seconds. I'll start when you start.
I don't think I need the whole 90. I think that a lot has been talked about. I think if y'all don't understand our games now, another 90 seconds isn't going to fix it. Quick summation, I should have been gone the first night. I'm here now. In between then and now, I've won more greenhouses than anyone did this season. I never touched the block. I always pivoted at the right time. I got big names out. I made the strongest alliance of the season. I don't know what else you guys want from from an All-Stars champion. That's not it. So if you think I'm worthy of it, I would appreciate your vote. If you don't, y'all are all great players. I respect your opinions.
Thank you to our final three.
We will line up and begin the voting process.
With that being said, that's for you, Holly.
Thank you.
I will begin to reveal the votes. Going in order, no particular order. Jessica has voted for Brandon.
I think like Ross and Meredith rode each other's coattails, if that made sense, which, you know what I mean? Like they were like a cape and the little birds, just no person. They were just both just collectively carrying this stance. And so I don't think either of them like really deserve my vote. Like I said, Ross manipulated me and admitted it, so he's gonna respect that I'm not gonna vote for him, but I do. He is my sweet baby, Ross. Meredith, I think, played a really great game as well, but I think especially in there, she's claiming a lot of stuff that she did, and like claiming things as if she did it by herself, and I just really don't think that at all, you know? And so I think she's a great player, and she got where she needed to be, but I just did not think. Brandon, I thought, like he said, really pivoted through like all of the teams. And honestly, his last comment was what won me over, which was talking about like the previous games that we've always done and stuff like that. And I did not know that this was his second game at all. And I related to him when he said that the first game that he played, it was a new game. It was like, you know, they just kind of got through it. And he got on the seat and he said, "How did I get here?" And I know that the first time I played a game was Survivor, and I felt a lot like that too. Because I play just how I am, which is also, of course, you know, just my style, how I played this round too. But I felt like for Survivor, that's really how I got up there too. And he said he was up against two people that made noise, and so that just made the difference. And that's I like related to that a lot because I felt like that was how I did Survivor. I know we played Big Brother, and then the two greenhouses, that was flop flop, flip flop, like bad. And then this game was really special to me. Oh, you just heard it. It was really special to me. So I really was really happy to be in it for so long. But you know, making top 4 was awesome. Yeah. But I think that Brandon has earned my vote the most. Yeah, I had so much fun. You can see it's right here. It's in my face. So that's what I think I'll do is I'll vote for Brandon, and I think everyone really played a great game. It was awesome, and making everybody laugh here was like the biggest treat of my year, for real. So thank you guys. I love you guys.
Thank you so much for saying yes.
Thank you. I am so proud of you, Jessica.
Yes, thank you.
From the ground to the sky.
From the ground to the sky. Yes.
Gabrielle has voted for Meredith.
I think I'm really torn between Brandon and Meredith. She really did the thing. She really did the thing, and if it isn't me, if it isn't me, I really do relate to her gameplay, and I think that that's why I am gonna vote for Meredith. When it really came down to jury questions and jury speeches, she did not hold back, and that was what I wanted. And I think they had incredible games. They all did. But she did the thing, and she's an icon, through and through. She really did that. All icons, but that is where my vote is going.
Lily has voted for Ross. We are tied at 1 vote each. Patrick.
Break it.
Has voted for Meredith.
I didn't really know a lot about Ross's game, but all of the early jurors were like, oh, Ross is so cool, Ross is the king of the world, whatever. But I think Ross did a great job. I feel like he started too slow in the answering questions, so I kind of fell off on Ross. But I will acknowledge that these 3 people played the best game, and they deserve to be in the end. And I think no matter what, I will be proud of whoever represents this season. I'm honored to be a part of it. I loved how much they said my name. Like, I felt like I was, but them saying it makes me feel way better about that, because now I'm not just like a crazy person. For me, the vote is never in doubt. There's only one winner. And I was in the jury house arguing with 4 stubborn early jurors about their abilities and about their power and about their winning game, and I think they showed exactly why they deserve to be the winner. And if they're not, great winner no matter what, but I will be a little upset if they don't win. Meredith should win this game for so many reasons. She stated them all. I couldn't have done it better myself. Also, I'm like actually positive that I would have gotten my ass beat in any sort of final whatever, because they are just crazy. I really hope she wins. She deserves it. That's all I got. Great game.
Brady has voted for Ross.
I think Meredith held her ground. However, I'm most impressed, I think, by what Ross was able to do. That much power, that much fear that was instilled in all of us in how he was playing, and that ability to maneuver is fucking crazy. People who get fly trapped are very likely to be a winner, and I think last time Ross got fly trapped, but this time he will be rightfully the winner, in my eyes at least.
Brody has voted for Brandon. 2 votes Brandon, 2 votes Meredith, 2 votes Ross.
I was between Ross and Meredith, and Ross was like 85%. He's gonna get it. He got me out. He made the connections with people that I think kept that group safe for so long. I think what Brandon said is true, and that I do think he has perfected the game in a way. He came in as a winner when all the other winners went out very, very early. He made his way into the final 3 when Jessica was there to go with them, who they had been working with since the beginning, and Brandon forced his way into that relationship. He bounced from people to people as needed. He won when he needed to. He let relationships die when they needed to. I think he played the best game despite it not being the game I would ever play. And that, for me, is so difficult to understand because I saw Ross's game and respect the hell out of it. I respect the hell out of him as a player. But Brandon deserves this. And so I'm going to vote for Brandon.
Shane has voted for Meredith.
I have never been so undecisive in this game about this. My vote changed maybe 25 times between each answer. They played exceptionally well. They each are very aware of their game, and I love that. The person I'm voting for is the person that was most aware of the jury perspective and their game and made decisions based on that for the best possible in game. And for that reason, I'm going to vote Meredith.
With the final vote, the winner of Allstars. Congratulations, Meredith.
Oh, it's quiet.
Thank you. No one's ever gonna let me in front of a jury again.
Meredith flew here from Chicago.
Chicago!